Hello, and how is everyone? This is Jackie with Paper Moments, and I am here to share with you my #2 project for Country Craft Creations for the month of February. And this is my second project that's going to house my first project, which was my 6.5 by 6 1/8 folio. That was a smaller version of my authentic romance folio. So I had the video for this folio already on my YouTube channel, and now we are going to create a little house to hold this book, to hold my folio. So I'm going to ask you right from the beginning to bear with me, because I have not made one of these prior to this tutorial. It's a tutorial as we go type of thing. So what I did was, using my chipboard, I took 2 pieces of chipboard and I cut them at 6.5 by 10 5/8. Okay. What I did was I came up here in the 6.5 and I measured it at 3 1/4, and I made a little notch up here. Then I measured from the bottom to 6 inches, 6.5 inches up. So from here to this line here, this line right here is 6.5. I cut 2 of them exactly the same. Okay, one is going to be the front of my house, and one is going to be the back of my house. And so I'm going to set the front one aside because I don't need that right now. Then I cut a 6.5 by 6.5 piece for my bottom. Okay. Then I cut 2 more 6.5 by 6.5 for my sides of my house. Then for the roof, because I'm making a birdhouse, I cut a 5.5 by 7, 2 pieces, and that's going to be my roof base. So what you're going to need is your chipboard cut at these dimensions, and then you're going to need some paper strips to be able to bind the pieces together. So what I did was I took a piece of 12 by 12 and I went and I scored it at every 1/2 inch all the way across. Okay, so you can see right there my score lines are 1/2 inch across all the way across the paper. This is the second sheet. I've done one already, and then I cut them out at 1 inch. So I just stick them in my cutter, and since the paper is at 12, I move the first cut to 11, and then I just cut it away, and I've got a 1 inch strip that I need. Take my second one, move it to the 10 inch, and then cut. And there's my next strip. And keep moving down. So I'm going to go to 9 next. And then I'm going to move to 8. I don't know if I'm going to need 24 pieces of strips to create my house, but I wanted to show you how I do my strips to make it a little bit easier. So I moved that at 6, and there's another 1 inch, and then 5. And I'm just going to cut it all the way down, so that way I have them if I need them, and if I don't need them, I'm going to save them, because I can use this for another project that I do. So let's keep that on the 1 inch. So it's 4. And then I'm moving it to 3. And then 2. And then 1. So now I have 12 strips that I may or may not need, but I have them if I need them. So that gives me 24 strips. I don't know if I'm going to need all 24, but we shall find out, but I doubt it. So, okay, so let's get started with building our birdhouse. So you're going to this is the back, these are the 2 sides, this is the bottom. Okay, So I'm going to add my bottom pieces, my two bottom pieces together. So I'm going to cut these at, or my top and my back and my bottom too, and I'm cutting these at 6.5 inches, just because I know that's what I'm going to need. So a couple more. And I'm making the house 1/2 inch larger than my folio, so I know my folio is going to sit in there perfectly. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with those. So what I want to do is I'm going to fold them over and score on the score line and burnish them down. And I'm going to do a couple of them now just because it's going to save a little redundance here of doing it each time I need them. And again, I'm using the white artesian cardstock from Country Craft Creation. The chipboard is also heavyweight from Country Craft Creation. Okay, so we're going to get started with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure this top, and it's 6.5 by 6.5. And I'm going to miter my corners. I'm not taking off the length. I'm just coming at the corner and cutting it off to miter it a little bit so it will fit from side to side, okay, without going over. So I want to add my glue to one side of the strip. And I'm going to lay it down like this, and I'm going to put this right here on top, matching it side to side, so it's not sticking over the edges at all. Then I'm going to go ahead and add my glue to the other side. If I clean up my mess here with the glue that I made, because I don't want glue on my project, I'm just going to take the top and I'm going to add it right on and match it up side to side. But I'm leaving a little space in between the two pieces of chipboard, and the reason for that is I want it to be able to bend and move, because this is gonna stand up. So there's that one, and then I want to add my sides down here. So I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did at the top with the back and the bottom to the sides and the bottom. And before I add the glue, I want to miter the corners, and again, measuring they should be exactly 6.5 by 6.5, and they are. So I just want to miter the corners, not taking off the edge, the side width of it. So I want to be able for it to. This one I need to take a little bit off, so you want to always make sure that you're measuring. Okay, so I'm going to add my glue to one side. Glue this back up so it'll be in photo frame. Stick this right here. And I'm going to add my glue to the other side. And again, leaving room in between the two pieces of chipboard. So if you need to know the room, so I kind of do it two pieces of chipboard put together and allow them to move freely, and that's going to allow me to be able to move my pieces without them tearing the paper or bunching up and not meeting right together. So, all right, and let's do another one for the other side. And match it up. Let's see. It looks good. Add my glue to this one now. And leave my room between the two. So when I put it together, it's going to be like this. It's going to be part of my birdhouse, okay? So now what I want to do is I want to join the back to the sides. And again, 6.5 inches should be more than enough. Again, I'm going to miter them. Add my glue to one side, and I'm going to add it to this right here. There. Okay, now I'm going to do this other side too. That's now, just so it doesn't get awkward for me. So I'm going to have to cut some more strips. And I'm going to cut them at 6.5. I'm going to stay with my 6.5 for right now. flip it over just so I can harness this down a little bit better. Okay, now we're ready to add our sides to our back. So I'm going to go ahead and add my glue to this one. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to meet my 2 pieces of chipboard side by side evenly, and then I'm going to just push that down. Like that. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And now when you're adding the sides, these strips to the back, you don't have to worry about them being that space between them, because you want them a solid. You don't want a gap in your walls, basically. So, lay that down. So there is our part of our birdhouse. Now, I want to make sure that this is sturdy, and so I'm going to reinforce the inside walls. So what I come and do, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the seams, right here on the center of the seams. And I'll show you here in a minute. You don't need a whole lot, just a real thin line. You see that all the way around? Okay, so then I want, excuse me, I want my binding strips. I want to measure that they're going to fit without going over. Yep, that's perfect. And now I'm going to come back and I'm going to add my glue to both sides. And that's going to reinforce my side, my seams to my back and to my sides. Just stick it down right in there. Just brushing it down. Okay. Do the other one, other side. And it matches, fits perfectly. I want to do the back, bottom back to the bottom to the back side. Now, this one I'm going to have to measure because it may have to come down a little bit smaller. Nope, it's good. All right. So I just took a little bit extra off, not even an 1/8 of an inch off of this one edge, just so that it would be a nice fit in there without puckering. And I'm going to go ahead and add that. Scoot that right in there. Okay, see that? Then I'm going to do the 2 sides here as well. this one I do need to cut down a little bit because I don't want it sticking out. That's going to be going right up to the edge. Let me go ahead and cut my other one before I glue that one down and do the same thing with that one. There. Oh, a little bit more needs to come off. I don't want it sticking out on the sides because I am going to add another piece here, and so I don't want the bulk. I want it to be able to be nice and neat and crisp. So let's go ahead and add our glue. I'm going to add the glue along the seam on both sides. It just helps, kind of helps to reinforce it. And I've just taken my, and I know this is hard for you to see, I'm just taking my bone folder, running it along the seam, and then burnishing my paper down. For the other side. What's wrong with my glue tip here? Insert that right in there. Taking my bone folder, going right along the seam, and it moved on me. So burnishing that one down, and this one down. Okay. Here is the front. Now I didn't do the front because what I want to do is I want to add hinges to the front and make it a door. Okay. So I need to figure out how I'm going to be able to do that with my roof, because I didn't think about that until just now. I think I'll be all right if I So I'm going to have to, I do have a little bit of an overhang here, and that was what I wanted. It wasn't much, but I had a little bit of an overhang. So, so what I do want to do is I want to go ahead and cover the front of these with the binding strip to make it neat, and the down here at the bottom. I want that also covered. So, put some more binding strips out here. I may need all 24 of those strips. Huh. May need more, I don't know. Alright. So, let's fold these. The one thing I do know is I can't add my door until I add my pattern paper on at least this side. So I do know I'm going to have to do that before I can add the hinges, because otherwise it's not going to work. Alright, so what I did was I just cut a piece down because I want to be able to cover this right here. And I want to make sure that it's going to cover both pieces, and it is. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and add my glue to one side of the inside of the and I want to make a nice crease there. I have my glue here. So I want that nice and tight. So there's okay. I'm going to do the same thing for this side here. And as you can see, it comes over the top. So I definitely want to cut some off when I miter it. Need a little bit more. Just something right there, because I want to be able to cover all the corners. see what's going to work here. I'm going to go ahead and cover these. I'm not sure if I need to or not, but I just want to be on the safe side because I don't want any of the tan craft color showing through. And see, our folio is going to fit right in there like that. Actually, you could probably put we could already actually put a bunch of folios in there, so I may just do that. That would be cute. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to cover this. Let's see how that looks. Alright, so the door's going to go like this. It's going to open, so I'm going to have the hinges on here. Right. So I basically need to mat these two together. So let's do that first. And these are my 7. Just leave a little bit of space between the two. Okay, I have to leave a little bit more than that. I think that may work if I attach it to the back and then attach the, alright, we'll see if this works. So, we need, what do I need? So I'll attach this here. So I think I'm going to need, I need to go ahead and cover 5 1/2. Another 5 1/2 and a 5 1/2. And I definitely will be needing more strips because I still have to cover the edges on that one as well. So, like I said, this is my first time making this, so I'm learning as I go, or constructing as I go. But my original design was you could just take the lid off the top, pick the lid up off the top, and then put the book in. But then I thought, no, this is a door, birdhouse door. I'd rather have the hinges, but we'll see how that works. I'm hoping it does. If not, I may have to go back to just the top being the lid, but I don't hoping not. So, all right, let's cut these wood, spider these down. And these are going to go on the side here. So, do the other side. All right, now just to figure out how I'm going to attach here, which I don't think is going to be a problem as long as I use my binding strips, which I think was going to work. So what I'm going to do is put a binding strip on the back. Let me see if I can turn this upside down. So I'm going to do a binding strip on the back, right here and here. And then I'll go in and reinforce it in the front. And that way it should just stick right there. And it should be my birdhouse. Let's hope. Okay, I'm going to have to cut more binding strips because obviously I didn't have enough. I'm only down to 1 out of 24. So I'm going to go ahead and take a break and cut the strips, and then I'll be right back. So hang tight. Okay, hey, I'm back, everyone. So in order for me to be able to fit the lid on, I've been figured I couldn't do it without adding the front door, so I went ahead and I papered one side, added the hinges, and then papered the front door. And I used the color Philosophy Seagrass ink from Prima to ink my edges. And then I went ahead and I added 2 strips on the back of the house. I don't know if it's going to work. I think I'm going to have to trim them down, but I want to get this on. So what I think I'm going to have to do, the more I look at it, once I've got the door on, I know where I'm going to put this. And then as you can see, my strips are hanging out over on the back side. So I don't know if that's going to work or not. But I'm going to try and go ahead and I'm going to attach the sides. And then I will fiddle with the back. I think I'll be all right once I get the sides on. So I went ahead and I cut my strips. They're 6.5. So what I'm going to do is I've got them folded in half, and I'm going to glue them onto the side, inside of the house, and then I'm going to glue them on the back side, the inside of the roof. So let's see if that's going to work. The more I fiddled with it, after I made more strips, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? It's like I said, I totally changed. Once I had this in my head to do, I then totally changed it to say I didn't want the roof to come off. I wanted it to be attached, and I wanted to use a door. Well, I'm not sure if that's going to work or not, but we're going to see. So this is trial and error. So you just bear with me here, and I'm hoping it's going to work. I already added the paper on the other side, so I have to do the binding strips from the inside, otherwise I'm going to cover my paper up, the pattern paper, which I don't want to do. And I'm hoping this is going to be the easiest way, and that way you all can recreate the same birdhouse. So I think that's going to work. I'm going to go ahead and miter these just a wee bit. I probably should have mitered both sides, but let's see how I'm going to do this. I'm just going this way. Yeah, I should have mitered at least this one side here, and I think I'm going to have to do it. I don't want it to stick out. Okay, so hopefully this will work. So if we put the lid on, the roof on, I mean, alright, let's see if this is going to work. So there's my door. My door is going to close. My roof's going to come over. And I know it's hard for you all to see, but let me see if I can do it this way. So my door is going to be right here. It's going to come over, overhang just a little bit on the front, which I think is going to be okay. I think I may have to pay for it. I'll be alright. So let me go ahead and add glue here to these. It's going to be a bear, I think, papering the inside once I put it together. But I don't want these strips over my pattern paper, so like I said, this is all trial and error. So I went ahead and put the glue on the 2 strips here, and I want to put my roof on and turn this up. So I want this over a little bit more. Alright, and I'm going to apply my strips here to the roof. Okay, can't do do it that way. I'm going to have to do it with it up. It's just going to be awkward, and you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing. But hopefully I can show you after I'm done. Yeah, a little bit more. Alright, that's one side. I don't want to add more glue over here on this one so it doesn't, in case it started to dry. Probably shouldn't have done it on both sides because art glitter glue does dry fast. My tip doesn't want to stay on for some reason. Let's go ahead and try this again. So this is coming up like this. Oh, okay, it's not going to work. What did I do wrong? I got it down too far, I think, over here. Yep, I did. I got it down too far. I'm pulling this strip off. Oh. Alright, let's... Gotta work, right? It's gotta work. Now, add more glue over here. Don't move on me, please. Okay, maybe I need to glue these on first, but I'm definitely going to have to. You have to cut them after I glue them on. Okay, I'm going to try it that way. I'm going to glue these on first. So I'm going to hold that, so it closes. No. think I found it. Alright, now let's do this side over here. Pull this back. I know I'm going to have to reinforce it, but until I can get it figured out. Perfect. Look at that. Well, not quite perfect. There. Alright. I think I got it, guys. No, I think I don't. There's a gap. There's definitely a gap. So... maybe I shouldn't have put the bottom on yet. What do you think? All right. Okay, let me cut these down, because I think I can reinforce it with this. If I cut them down. Which is not going to be easy. Down. Down. So I do know I have to reinforce the roof, which is going to not be that hard. Or the back of the roof. Let's see if I can do it this way. And I'll show you right in a minute what I'm doing. So basically what I did was, let me see if I can get you this, right here. I just did this right in here to reinforce that. And then I'm going to do this side right here as well. And I think that might help it to reinforce it. So I'm just using my leftover strips. I'm going to measure them before I go in and insert them. Okay, so that one's at an angle. Too long. So I need to get off right there, maybe. Let's see. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, to figure out with the door, I don't know if I'm gonna have a latch or not. I didn't intend to have a latch. I was just gonna use a doorknob, like a little pulley, but I'm gonna have something. I don't know if I'm gonna need something to keep it closed or not. Once we get, I think I'm gonna, but we'll see when I go to decorate. So, and then that fits right in there like that. Yeah, I'm going to have something to hold that door shut. Okay, so that is the construction of the birdhouse. I will be back to show you the construction of decorating it once it's decorated, but it definitely it was fun. I didn't know if I could do it or not, and if there's a will, there's a way, I'm sure, but I'm sure you all, once you see this, you'll come up with a better way of doing it as well, or recommend an easier way to do it. I did use the Tim Holtz hinges on here. I used the small ones. I probably could have went with the larger ones because they weren't as easy to attach, but it worked. And now to decorate this house and my folio. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hi, it's me again. Just to come back, I wanted to make a few clarifications and adjustments on my tutorial. Number one, on the tutorial, do not attach your box bottom till the very end. So you want to attach the back and the two sides. And then you want to attach the door, and then attach the roof. And not having the bottom piece on there, you're going to be able to get in there and get it more even in that than what I did, and not struggle like I did with this the last part of it. And then at the very end, go ahead and attach your bottom piece to it using your strips. I think that's going to work a little bit better than when I added the bottom, and I didn't have any room to put my hand. I had nowhere for my hands to go to help get everything glued up and set in place. So don't attach the bottom until the very end, and I think that way too it's going to have a neater appearance all the way around. So just a little clarification and update on the tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to help you. Thank you. Bye-bye.